Hi, fourth grade. Today we're going to go over some problems from math lesson 524, which is about decomposing and composing fractions that are greater than 1. Now I want you to think to yourself, there are two different ways that we can write fractions that are greater than 1. I want you to think about it to yourself. What are those two ways that we can write fractions that are greater than 1? Hopefully you are thinking about improper fractions. For example, 7/3, where our parts are bigger than the whole. We also have improper fractions. Improper fractions would be 7/3. Mixed fractions, we have 1 and 1/2, where we have a whole number along with a fraction. But today we're going to focus on taking our improper fractions and changing them to mixed fractions using a few different strategies. The first strategy that I want to talk about is decomposition. So we want to think about how we can use decomposition to change 7/3 into a mixed fraction. Now, I want you to write down 7/3 on your whiteboard, your piece of paper, whatever it is that you're working with. And, mixed fractions, they have holes, whole numbers, and fractions. So the first thing I want you to think about is, how many holes are there in 7/3? 7/3. 3 is the number in each group, but we have 7 parts total. So we know that 3/3 would be 1 whole. Let's see, can we add another whole to that? Let's see, 2 wholes would be 6/3, and we still have a little bit left over. We can't make 3 wholes, so you know what? I know that we can make 2 wholes. So thirds being our unit, 1 whole would be 3/3, 2 wholes would be 6/3. So we have 6/3, and how much is left over? So 7/3, 6/3, we would need to add the 1/3. Okay. So we have 6/3 and 1/3. We know that 6/3 is the same as 2 wholes. So we have found through using decomposition that 7/3 is equivalent to 2 from our 6/3 and 1/3. Alrighty. So this is just one strategy to change an improper fraction to a mixed fraction. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is what other strategy could we use to solve this? I want you to pause the video for a second, and I want you to think, what other strategy could I use other than decomposition using a number bond to change 7/3 to a mixed fraction? Really, pause the video. I want you to think about it. Oh no, I just wrote on my leg. That's okay. It'll wash out. Alrighty, hopefully you paused the video and you were thinking about another strategy. Well, the second strategy we're going to talk about is multiplication. So, hold on just one second. Alrighty, so we want to change 7/3 to a mixed fraction using multiplication. Again, mixed numbers, mixed fractions, they're composed of whole numbers and fractions. So the first thing we want to do is think about, how many holes are there? The problem we just did, when we broke apart 7/3, we found that there were 2 holes. And 1 whole for 7/3 would be what? Yes, 3/3. So we have how many holes in 7/3? Well, we know from the last problem that there are 2 holes in here. So if we take out 2 groups of 3/3, we would have 2 times 3/3. Everybody, what would 2 times 3/3 be? You guessed it, 6/3. But we're not going to solve that just right this moment. So we know 2 times 3/3 will give us 6/3, and then what else do we need to add to that? You're right, 1/3. 2 times 3/3 plus 1/3. We know that this would be 6/3 or 2. So you know what? I'm actually going to write it as 2. So we know that this is going to give us 6/3, which is equivalent to 2 wholes. and then we're adding 1/3, which will give us 2 1/3. Now there's lots of other ways that you can choose to write this multiplication sentence, and I want you on your whiteboard, on your notes, whatever you are using to write with, I want you to either decompose 7/3 into a different way, or use multiplication in a different way to change 7/3 into a mixed fraction. We know that it's equivalent to 2 1/3, so that is our goal. Our goal is to get to 2 1/3. But I challenge you to use a different, one of these two strategies, but use it differently, different steps. So this is all that I have for you for right now. Make sure that you are checking your independent study packet for the problem set problems for 524, which are 1D, 2C, 3A, C, G, and I. So please check that, friends. That is all I have for you for 524. Please continue to check for other math lessons and other lessons. Thank you very much.